Hello everyone, thank you for making your way over to the YouTube video as part of the video progress report. I want to just spend the next 15 minutes talking about our topic of ageism and getting your feedback as our peers, and also just informing you onto our subject of ageism and how we feel it is completely relevant into today's society. First that we will start off with will be to define the topic. Ageism is the process of prejudice or discrimination based off of someone's age. Ageism is about older people that are senile, rigid in thought and manner, old-fashioned in morality and skills. Each year, an estimated 2 million elders are abused, exploited, or neglected. Social injustice of ageism is that society thinks that older adults with disabilities have no rights once they reach a certain age. Now, this is completely, when you read this, it just seems ridiculous that someone would ever think like this, yet it occurs so common today in today's society, especially with employers, family members, and other people in society who feel that they can take advantage of people once they become elderly. Now, this typically is not seen in the news as often or covered as often on social media as much as African American rights or lesbian and gay rights, but I think it's incredibly important and relevant since we all will be old one day, and so we need to take care of our parents, our grandparents, and we would want us to be taken care of by our kids and our grandkids. So I think it's extremely important, and I hope that our project really highlights the need that we need to have as social workers for the elderly in our communities. Going forward, talking about the 5 faces of oppression, there's exploitation, which is really discussing how disabled elderly individuals are more likely to be exploited because of their vulnerability. Oftentimes people think, oh, they're not going to comprehend what I'm doing, they're not going to know, so they think that's a right for them to just take advantage of someone. I have actually had an experience with this. I witnessed this actually. I used to be a CNA at a nursing home, and a person that was in our facility had been sexually abused by a former male CNA. The story just absolutely shook me, and it was so heart-wrenching to see that someone who just was so vulnerable was taken advantage of by someone. And thank goodness he is in jail and being prosecuted for this, but it was just a situation that really opened my eyes up to the oppression that the elderly face, and that it really is our duty to fight for them. So another face is marginalization. So as people age, they may get laid off from work due to age discrimination and are often not able to find work due to companies seeking younger employees. Discrimination in the workplace affects individuals with physical disabilities, and they are most at risk for being laid off. Employers tend to think, oh, well, they're aging, so how much longer are they really going to work, or they're not going to be able to keep up with the company and technology, which technology definitely is a huge driving force for the elderly to be laid off in the workplace. I think it's a huge stereotype because oftentimes elderly people know technology very well and are able to contribute so much to the workplace and the environment that they're in. And I think that it's completely just discriminative to fire someone based off of, oh, well, they're getting older. Older people are able to offer so much to the workplace, their wisdom, their expertise in their field. And I think this is something that we definitely need in society, and we should honor these people and respect them for the hard years of work that they've given to our country. And I think that's something to pride and to really highlight instead of to put down. Going forward, another phase is powerlessness. Oppressed groups lack the power to decide policies as well as to make decisions in their social life. Older disabled individuals are often dependent on someone else to make decisions for them and have little autonomy as a result. You see this with people in nursing homes and care facilities where they literally look like a shell of their own being. They are not given options or decisions or input onto what they want for their life. Everything is basically dictated for them. I think restoring the sense of power to these people really just shows them that they are valued and they're loved and cared for. This is a huge thing that we should focus on as social workers, the fact that we need to restore power and autonomy to these people. Cultural imperialism. Oppressed groups are stereotyped and presented as different than or inferior to the dominant group. Elderly are often disregarded in society and observed as being invisible while still being stereotyped and viewed as different. We tend to just think that elderly people, oh, they're beneath us, they don't know how to do this, they're slow drivers, and we put all these stereotypes on people that are not true, and I don't think we would want put on us. So I think it's very important that we disregard these stigmas and stereotypes that are being put on these people and are contributing to a lot of the exploitation that is going on. Moving forward, the fifth phase would be violence. And as older people increase in age, so does the likelihood that they will have to rely on assistance for their daily needs, their financial needs, just everything that needs to be decided, that they're completely dependent on someone else. So along with this, and along as the dependence increases, so does the risk for violence and exploitation. As I mentioned in my example at my previous employer before, this is just an example at how there is a huge increase in risk for violence, and that is something that we need to stand up for as social workers to make sure that we are fighting against. We would never want that to happen to our parents or to us, so that's something that we need to be aware of as we work against ageism and discrimination, that we are fighting for just the basic human rights of these people. The next slide was ageism around the world. So as we were focusing on America and ageism within our own country, I did want to highlight ageism around the world and how people all across the world in many different countries just feel like they are left out, that they are looked down upon, that they aren't respected as they feel that they should be. So this video just highlights a few individuals from different countries and really strikes through to my core, especially the fact that we need to respect these people and to give them back their dignity. So I hope that you just take a couple minutes to look at this video, and I hope it moves you the way that it moved me. Going forward, defining the purpose of identifying the social justice of ageism, specifically in regards to the elderly with disabilities, would be awareness, advocacy, and action. Defining the goal would be defining social injustice explained by American elderly with disabilities, determining what steps should be taken to increase their justice, informing the targeted population of the dangers of oppression and what resources there are available to them, and empowering elderly with disabilities so they can work to enact change. This is very important, that we should be not only fighting for their rights, but also helping educate the elderly so that they can fight for their rights as well. Defining the action, the informational campaign. 2 members of our group are developing flyers which will indicate information and tips on scams that typically target elderly populations. So Lynn and Caitlin will be heading this up, and they are going to be distributing flyers to places in their communities, and the flyers are going to provide information also about elder abuse, and attached to the flyers will be resources available in the community to assist elderly individuals who have been victimized or would just like to increase their awareness about local social supports that they could have access to. Flyers will be handed out at Brookdale Ocean Shores in Seattle, Washington, and at Genesis Healthcare in Nazareth Independent Living Home in Louisville, Kentucky. The letter writing campaign will be conducted by myself and Leah. Leah will write letters to Oregon legislators regarding the H.R. 3885 Senior Citizen Protection Act of 2017. I will write letters to the North Carolina legislators regarding the same Protection Act. The letters will include citizens' expectations of local representatives regarding representation of elderly population, The letters will also advocate for the promotion of the safety and quality of life for elders in our own respective communities. Defining the research, they will be focused on institutional ageism, societal ageism, ageism in the workplace, and ageism in gender. The research and contacts will be the American Society on Aging, the ACLU, National Association of Social Workers, and the Governor's Commission on Senior Services and the Oregon Disabilities Commission. The description and contacts, as previously mentioned, will be the Nazareth Independent Living Home and the Genesis Healthcare in Louisville, Kentucky. The letters will be written to Representative Knute Buehler, 54th District, who is also running for the Oregon Governor in 2018, and then Representative Robert Pinger, the 9th District of North Carolina, and then also Brookdale Ocean Shores. The H.R. 3885 Senior Citizen Protection Act of 2017, it's to direct the Attorney General to establish guidelines for a model elder abuse registry and to provide grants to states for establishing and operating such a registry and for other purposes. It was introduced September 28, 2017 to the House and was referred to the House Committee on the Judiciary the same day. The bill was introduced by Democratic Representative Bradley Scott Schneider of Illinois, 10th District. The local representatives will be contacted by our group to encourage the support of this bill as it identifies elderly citizens as a vulnerable population, and the call to action is to protect individuals in the aging population. The justification of contacts. Through grassroots advocacy, we intend to target populations that work directly with elderly individuals, especially those in vulnerable situations. Through contacting local representatives, we are notifying the representative that we are mindfully following policy that targets and promotes equality for aging populations. So Leah and I will be writing these letters and really representing the places from which we live and just advocating for the rights of the elders and just giving them insight as well as to what's happening within our own communities. Through engaging with other professionals in the community, such as caretakers, social workers, mental health care providers, and government officials, this allows for networking and alliances to be formed in order to encourage the safety, equality, and quality of life for elderly individuals. So all four of us are working to promote alliances and relationships within our own community that really will help our overall mission of bringing awareness to ageism and promoting the quality of life for these individuals. Going forward, we hope that you enjoyed this presentation. A few things I wanted to touch base upon were that I just want to get everyone's support and insight as to what they think that we could do to better work on our presentation, what steps should be taken for the third and final part of the project. Something that's really important and passionate to me regarding to this topic is just that we promote it and display it in a way that is directly targeting the injustice that is happening. As I mentioned in the beginning of this, there's so much media that is put on certain oppressed groups within our country, which is incredible that we are getting awareness out about these oppressed groups, but I also think that it is extremely important that we bring to light the issues that are happening with our elderly. Baby boomers, the people that were born between the 40s and the early 60s, they are starting to become older, and so this is going to be a huge problem as they are entering that senior citizen age, that we respect them and that we treat them with dignity and that we do not let people take advantage of them. So with this enormous amount of people that are becoming into that elderly category, it's very important that we address this issue now and we do not let it get overlooked, not only for workplace discrimination, but for just the overall basic rights that these people need to have. I think it's extremely important that we're doing this project. I'm very grateful, and I think I speak on behalf of everyone else in my group, that we're very grateful for this opportunity that we can bring to light some of the social injustice regarding older people in our community, and we really hope that you enjoyed this video progress report and accept all of your feedback, the good and the bad, so that we can do our best as we move forward. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video.